Hello guys, I am the AFROGIRL and welcome to today's Ready Steady Slay show. If this is your first time seeing the show, we talk about fashion, lifestyle and everything in between them with your favorite fashion inclined people. Today our guest is the vintage stylist Tsutsublema, and I don't know, if you do not know him, then I think you're really missing out because he's really good at what he does. I'm sure you've come across some of his works in music videos, but you just didn't know that he was the one. Okay, so hi Chuchu, thank you for coming on our show.
Hey Afro, thanks for having me. What's up?
Chuchu, so we know that you are into vintage styling, but what I don't understand is why that particular one. Because I know there are different fashion spaces you could have decided to go into. Why did you decide to go into vintage styling?
So I think I'm a lover of aesthetics. You know, growing up with my parents, I've always had access to vintage elements or stuff. So when I decided to basically go into vintage, it was quite easier for me to, you know, cast back and then reminisce about all these things and then, convert it into styling.
So when and how did styling people start for you?
I think it started in high school. I remember back in the days, I would go to town and then pick some stuff for my friend during entertainment and other events as well. With time, I realized they loved whatever I brought to the campus and they decided to, let me get some of these things for them. So through that, I sold all these, things to them, and that was how the whole thing started.
So you have quite a lot of vintage clothes. How do you get them? Where do you get them from? And how expensive are they?
For lack of better words, let me use the word plug. I have different or three sources of plugs where I get my stuff from. Globally, I have people in America and other places who supply me with these things. I also go to thrift shops in Ghana to get these things as well. And also have two or three designers who make clothes for me per my design. It's not that expensive though, so yeah, these are a few places I get my stuff from.
Okay, so do you make certain pieces yourself? If you do, what are some of the struggles you face?
Yeah, I do. Like I said earlier on, I do design some of the stuffs and then get people to sew for me. I'm yet to learn sewing though. Currently, the challenge will have to do with fabrics. You know, with vintage, there are certain fabrics that are not so common in Ghana. So you have to go to the market. It takes days before you get a particular, fabric. So these are some of the struggles we go through before coming up with the look.
So what's your one piece of advice for people when they are going to shop for things in thrift stores?
It's quite unfortunate that people always have the perception or the mindset that once you visit vintage shops, you get everything, at an affordable price. But the reality is that these things are quite difficult to come by. So it's advisable that once you go to the thrift shop, you should get in mind that, everything you see there wouldn't be that, cheap.
Okay, so I know a number of people reach out to you, so you style them for video shoots, for advertisements, all of that. And I know that pricing things like this isn't an easy task because you would have to make some of the clothes and then for some of them too, you would have to buy them. So what are some of the key things you consider when it comes to pricing?
So I put a lot of things into consideration, like how the client looks like, the aim of the concept or the project, and then whether it's a more detailed project. When I say detailed, what I mean is some people would like their looks to be very minimal, or other clients will also like, a lot of goodies or a lot of accessories around. So once I know you want to go for option A, I know how to charge you or price you per that.
Okay, so I know this might be a little personal, but I'm hoping you can give us an answer. What is the most amount of money you've charged a client, and what was the job description? You don't necessarily have to state who the client is.
I have charged as high as 15, 18, 20,000 from a client before. And the job description for that was for me to style the whole crew. And they were not even more than 10. It was, I must be honest, it was one of the biggest projects I've ever, handled this year. Having said that, I've also taken as low as 300, 150 CDs. So, I mean, it varies.
So is there any amount that you would not go below when pricing? If there is, what is that amount and why?
No, there is not, because it all depends on the relationship I have with the client. because I've worked with people for a very long time. If you give me the project and I assess it, I know that, okay, this is what I'm going to benefit at the end of the day. Without money or without income, I'll go for it. So it depends on how the client is able to convince me. So sure, there is no amount. I still do free job regardless.
What was that moment where you felt like you've made it in the industry?
So let me share an interesting story with you. One time, I think 4 or 5 years ago, I was working with this photographer, and then he got me this job to style. I think it was for Central University College Fashion Week, CUCW something something, I've forgotten, you know. So I was actually part of the models. We did the whole vintage concept with them. We shot a video and everything. You know, back in the days, we used to go to the mall to watch movies and the Friday Friends and all that. So I was with my friends going for an event there. And you know, they have these big screens in the mall. So we entered, I saw myself in the TV, and then that was when I was like, man, I've made it. So yeah, it was a good feeling, you know.
All right, so who are some of the celebrities you've styled over the years? And like it could be for personal shoots or videos, music videos.
Fuse ODG, Joey B, Kwesi Arthur, Wuta, Kofi Kinata, Nautica, Eshon, Adina, you know, just to mention a few.
Okay, so let's talk about styling someone, right? So do you just look at the person's personality and decide that, oh no, this look, this is the right one for you? How does it go? What if the person doesn't even like it? What happens after that?
Okay, so this is how the whole styling thing works, okay? Mostly when clients comes to you for you to sort of style them, there are two ways. It's either you check what the client likes the most, or if you want to change the entire look completely. So between option A and B, you just build on the selected option. You consider these things, how the client looks like, and then his favorite colors and other things. So on a day of shooting, I have this, I have that. Or you can also do fittings before or prior to the day of shoot, yeah.
Okay, so I know you are into vintage styling, but since you do others as well, I want us to talk about street style. Yes, because it seems as if everybody, including the musicians, want to enter that space. How lucrative is that business?
With regards to street style, you know, what is happening lately, a lot of the young creatives have gone into it because it creates a wider space for new people to sort of, you know, tap knowledge from. I think with street style, it's the ability to express, you know, your imaginative ideas, and that is why artists, including musicians and other people, have, you know, ventured into it, and it's really fetching, you know.
So have you ever been called to an impromptu shoot before where the demand was so much? If you have, how did you manage the situation? How did you manage to get everything done?
All right, so one time I was called for a video shoot. It was an impromptu job though by this director. So we were supposed to produce 30 clothes within, it was less than 48 hours. In situations like this, what you will have to do is get other designers to make the clothes for you. At the end of the day, to be honest with you, you may not get anything or any profit after the shoot because you will then distribute your profit to other designers for the work to be done.
Okay, so what piece of advice would you give to someone who wants to be a stylist like you?
You know, styling is not an easy job. People think it's very easy. You just go to the market, pick some few clothes and all that. But then it involves so many things. Your mind is working, your hand is working, your eye is working. So it needs dedication basically. So you need to be dedicated to your job, and then don't expect to make huge profits at the starting years, you know. So you just put in your passion, give yourself, you know, some small margin or years, and then after that, you're going to blow.
Okay, so can you give us some basic clothing items you think everyone should have in their wardrobe to help switch their look up a bit?
Accessories. Why accessories? Because accessories adds up to a person's looks. It changes their looks completely. You can go very minimal or simple, but once you add rings, I love shades, you know, and stuff like that. Once you add all these things, it changes your look. So I think it's something one shouldn't do without.
All right, so this isn't even a question. This is the last thing you're going to do. Plug yourself. Let us know how we can be able to reach you, your contacts, anything.
All right, so hi, my name is Kobe Klein. I'm the founder, creative director, Tsutsublema. Follow me up on Instagram and other social media handles. It's TSUTSUBLEMA. Tsutsublema. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Chuchu, for coming on our show today. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to leave a comment as to what you think about it and let us know the people you want to see on the show next. Until same time next week, bye.